All right, welcome to our fourth episode of the MegaCast, and I'm here with none other than the Infinity Champion, Big Moe. Uh, Big Moe, perhaps you'd like to tell us how you got started in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I got started originally. I started training about 2011 was when I initially got started, but then due to some personal life stuff, I had to walk away from training for about 8 months. But then I came back in February 2012, and I've been off and running ever since.
Who are some of your earliest heroes as professional wrestlers?
Uh, I would say, well, of course, as a kid, I grew up on, Hulk Hogan, but I was more of a Randy Savage guy. But then Jake the Snake, and then going into WCW, and then being wild by the cruiserweight division, like a lot of like the whole world was. Um, but then what really got me to actually want to pursue wrestling was the first time I saw Samoa Joe in TNA,
Hmm.
where a guy that size just ripping and running with everybody made the wheels kind of start turning like, hey, if he can, then, maybe I can. Because I always wanted to do it, but then, I was like, I figured, I'd have to move to California and all this other stuff. And then, being 18, I'm like, I can't move to California at
Right,
18. I'm like, I'm like, my folks ain't going for that.
right.
So, um, but yeah, but seeing Samoa Joe really, really inspired me.
One of uh, One of your earliest titles, if I remember correctly, was you won the Mega Tag Team Championship with Brandon Xavier as part of Meat and Taters.
Yeah.
Can you relate to us what that experience was like?
It was fun. Like at that time, I wasn't real comfortable on stepping outside my character and doing like the funny stuff the way I am now. When I first started doing shows, I wanted to be, serious wrestler, and I do this and I do this and all that and blah blah blah. And everyone is just like, dude, just have fun. And at first I'm just like, no, I do this, and my matches were this and this and this. But then once I finally like embraced the fun side of then I started to have fun with it. So
Now you are currently holding the Infinity Championship, I should say. Who have
yeah.
been some of your toughest challengers for that title?
Uh TIM pushed me as far as anyone could push me. And then he pushed me a little bit more, you know. Like I definitely got some unfinished business with him. Um Nick Nero, and funny, I actually won the fighting spirit from Nick Nero in one of my best matches. Nick Nero also pushed me, you know, like I love to run it back with him again. And then recently on Turmoil, Paxton Calloway, you know, that man hurt. ain't no ain't no ifs, ands, or buts, no running around. That man hurt.
Right. Who do you see now as the top contenders for the Infinity title?
Anybody. I'll take on anybody.
So you have an open contract, so to speak, for challengers for the Infinity title.
Whoever wanted, they can get it.
Now, you have held all of the titles in Mega Championship Wrestling except for the biggest prize of them all, the Mega Championship. Now, I interviewed Ashton Day recently, and he mentioned that he probably wouldn't want to defend his title against you because he said you guys were too close of friends. Do you have any comments on that?
I've known Ashton since he got started. I remember when he was a small, skinny kid that came into Mega, where in the last in the last 2 years, post pandemic, he's really transformed his body and really got his mental game together. And then in the last few months, his ship is starting to skyrocket, and he's put in the work, and he does deserve it. I respect Ashton for what he's done and how he changed his body, but you step in the ring with me, Cash ain't gonna be one belt short.
Now, Cash Inc. has been has many of the titles, with the exception of the Fighting Spirit and the Infinity title. They hold the top tag title and the top singles title. They're a force to be reckoned with. Do you have any specific plans to how to counter that juggernaut that they have?
There's only one directive, and eventually I will take that title from Ashton. Let me get the opportunity. Let me get the opportunity. I'm taking that title from Ashton. It may not be soon, but eventually he gonna have to stand across the ring for me. And the day he does, the day that title comes home with me.
Now, you have had quite a year, I would say, quite a year, 8 months, 8 or 9 months, starting with, I believe it was in December, you won the first Crown Prince Battle Royal. What
Yeah.
was that experience like for you?
So that was it was definitely a experience where, you know, starting at number one and running through the whole thing where like I had a lot of mental barriers I had to climb, like going into that show, like like my head was somewhere else, and it was more like of the reason why this match is happening is very important. So I had to give out maybe the gutsiest performance of my whole career so far. Start in at number one and outlast everybody. And then, the spectacle at the end and what happened with the family and everything, like that was emotional. But that's what it was for. It was a celebration, and I was honored to be a part of it.
And your career has just gone even upwards from that high mark. What do you attribute that? I mean, you've always been a top competitor in Mega, but it seems like you have elevated yourself in the past, again, 8 months, year or so. What do you attribute that to?
Um, I want to say the pandemic was the biggest component because that really helped me get my mental strength better. Because just like the whole world was in a dark place at that time. I mean, it still is in a dark place, but it's up to us to pull ourselves together. And coming out of it, it made my mental acumen better. And as they say, wherever the head goes, the body goes. So once that, once that became better, everything else started to become better.
You are also, besides being one of the top competitors of Mega Championship Wrestling, you're also among the most popular wrestlers. I mean, the reaction that you got at the Battle Royal and the reaction that you get in all your matches has been overwhelming. What do you attest your popularity to?
I'm just myself. Like once I tried to stop being, oh, serious wrestler, or they say I'm the next this and I'm the next that. No, I'm I'm only me, and that's all I'm gonna be. Like once I fully embrace myself and put myself out there, then the reactions got louder.
Yeah, we had a little issue with the quality of the connection, so we're back now, and hopefully we'll be able to get through the rest of this without any technical difficulties. Even as a professor, I experience technical difficulties from every now and then. Um, what are some of your future goals as far as the sport of professional wrestling?
Uh, Big one would be to wrestle overseas. So we're like I want to go everywhere. I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Europe, Mexico, Puerto Rico. Like I want to go everywhere.
Um, I would be remiss if I did not mention one of your nicknames is Mr. 100 Million. Can you tell us about your viral videos that you have created that have gotten a lot of views on TikTok and on other platforms?
Yeah. He's just recording stuff at training just to see how it looks. So I just decided to post it, and I didn't expect it to like really explode the way it did, to where now uh the video has been turned into several memes. And once you turn into a meme, you're pretty much immortalized in a sense. When they turn you into a meme, some of them are funny, some of them aren't, and then there's a small select few that makes me be like, really. So shout out to Brennan, because he is just as important in those videos as I am. So I couldn't have did it without him.
My favorite part of looking at those videos is looking at the comments that people make about that. Everyone like wondering if he was dead, and
Right.
comments along of that nature. Um,
Right.
do you have any messages? Do you have anything else to say to the fans, the Mega Mafia, that we maybe have not touched yet in our discussion?
Uh Big shout out to them, because like they watch me grow and develop, and they've cheered me along the way. I've had fans reach out to me and tell me thank you, and they appreciate what I do, and because without them there ain't no me. So I just want to say thank y'all for letting me apply my craft in front of y'all.
All right. Well, thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to talk to. Best wishes for continued success.
No problem, Professor. We miss you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so
We
much.
miss
You,
you. We
you know,
miss you,
never
Professor.
never say never, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Never say never, Professor.
Eh,
Man, you got one more. Man, you got one more run left.
Yeah, what was I going to say? No one ever really retires in professional wrestling, so I,
Right.
I think Ric
Exactly.
Flair taught us that. So anyhow,
Him and Terry Funk.
exactly. All right, well, take care. Thank you very much.
All right, Professor. Thank you for having me.
All right.